When I was younger, I was the middle child between two boys. I grew up doing more boy things, of course. So, like, I wanted to play with action figures instead of dolls. I wanted to get my hands dirty instead of staying inside and painting my fingernails. Growing up, the only girl was kind of hard for me because I felt like I'd never really fit in with the other girls at my school because I never wanted to play with them. I wanted to do what the boys were doing instead. When my little sister was born, it kind of changed everything because even though we were about 15 years apart, I didn't want her to feel the same way because her growing up, she was going to grow up with four brothers instead of two like I did. So now, like when I go to my dad's house, we'll play together and we'll do a little like more girly things. So I don't want her to feel completely left out like I did. With this connection that I make with my sister kind of reminded me of the kite runner when Amir found out that Hassan was his brother. He was upset because he couldn't do anything about it. He had already died, but then he found out they had a nephew that he could go and take care of in replace of Hassan. And that's kind of how I feel with my sister. Like, even though we both have different moms, it doesn't change anything. We still have part of the same blood within each other. And that's more what kind of bonds us. We get past the fact that we have different mothers. We're both like a common model within our lives for each other. Education is kind of important with my family. Like, it's good. Like, most of my family has some sort of a college degree, but for me, it's more of a certificate saying I'll be okay in life. Because I want to major in architecture because it's something I love, and if you always want to do something you love. But I know sometimes architecture isn't really in high demand. Like, people are searching for them. But I know if I further my education, I'd be better off than someone who, say, stopped at high school. And now sometimes those students do better, but it's very rare. Like, when I was growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to be, and I always felt bad kind of when people would ask me, and I'd say, I don't know, because as I felt like I kind of should have. And this kind of made me connect a lot with Trish from Divergent when she was choosing what faction she wanted to do, because after she took her test, she was Divergent. She didn't have a clear path, so whatever she chose, she was stuck with. So that's how I feel with my education. Like, I know if I could, at least I get good grades in high school, I'll be fine if I can't find a job right away, and it'll make up for it later. Money is also an issue in my family, especially like with my education. They go hand in hand because after my parents got a divorce, it was hard on my mom because she had to pay child support for my two brothers because they were both with my dad. So we never had like any extra money to go around. Like, when we would go grocery shopping, she told me to like go get some cereal, and I never picked up the name brand stuff. I always picked up the generic brand because I knew it was less expensive, so we would have a little more money in our pocket. This kind of reminded me of In the Sun because when they got that big life insurance check from when their grandpa died, they needed to put something good towards the money. They wanted to save it, they didn't want to spend it right away. And that's how I kind of feel when my mom gets her income tax. Like, I never really asked for like super duper nice stuff. Like, I ask for Legos every Christmas, and sometimes she'll get the more expensive ones, but I know that we need to save the money instead of spending it. So normally I don't really ask a lot for Christmas, so I know that we'll have money left in our pocket for later. I think, though, my views on family has had the most impact on how I perceive the world because family will be there no matter what happens to you, no matter what you go through. Your family, some part of your family will always have your back. And sometimes, though, if you treat your family a certain way, they may not always want to help you. So family is always really important for me because they've always helped me with my education. Anytime I need money, I knew I could go to my family if I needed it that bad, or I could work for it, so I earned it. So family, going through high school and reading all these books and watching all these movies has definitely changed my perspective and made me look deeper into what family really is.